The instant darkness fell, the crowd on the third floor fell completely into chaos. Some people screamed. Some crouched down. Some rushed toward the exit. And some, as if a switch had been pressed, suddenly went quiet and stood upright. Those who stood upright in silence were the most dangerous ones. Their eyes were unfocused, their shoulders sank slightly, and their hands hung naturally at their sides. Their posture did not resemble ordinary panic. It resembled candidates in a queue, waiting for the next command. In the dark, the broadcast voice became lower. Withdrawers, silence. Blockers, eliminate. Correction begins. Yi Jiwei cried out in shock. It is not playing a recording. It is generating commands in real time. The man in the white shirt had already retreated beside the projection screen. The gentleness on his face had vanished, replaced by an almost fanatical calm. You arrived at exactly the right time. Mr. Luo said that a reality test requires the Obsidian rules to be present. Lin Yao ignored him. His first reaction was to look at the crowd. This was not the game. There was no Zhao Tai blocking the L series at the front. There were no physical diversion wooden tags from Su Fong. There were no counter-command short phrases from Fong Jian. There was no Asian soothing the temporary name holders. At his side, there were only the third field team, Xinwan, Qinshu, Yi Jiwei, He Chuan, and a still unstable weak projection of the War Soul altar. But the things established in the second season were not usable only inside the game. The core was not the item. It was the procedure. Lin Yao immediately shouted. Chen Shu, divide the people first. Chen Shu reacted extremely fast. Field Team 1, protect ordinary civilians and move them to the left. Team 2, restrain attackers. No lethal injury. Medical team, receive the panicked individuals. Lin Yao followed immediately. Qin Wan, record names. Yi Jiwei, mark fluctuations. He Chuan, if you still want to prove that the second research group is useful, isolate the command source. He Chuan glanced at him and, surprisingly, did not argue. Observer Yi, cut the broadcast source with me. Yi Jiwei immediately rushed toward the side control box. Lin Yao opened the metal box. Gray-white fire marks surfaced. He could not allow the War Soul altar to project completely. That would push reality side observation fluctuation toward loss of control. So he only drew out the smallest unit. The shadow of a diversion tag. Withdrawal. Another one. High risk. A third. Temporary name. A fourth. Ordinary evacuation. For faint wooden tags, shadows hovered in the air like low brightness safety indicators. They did not force anyone to act. They only gave people a direction. In the darkness, the crowd finally had something visible to look at. Lin Yao called out loudly. Anyone who can say their own name and wants to leave, look at the ordinary evacuation tag. Anyone who keeps hearing return to formation or correction, look at the withdrawal tag. Anyone who does not want to say their original name, look at the temporary name tag. Anyone who wants to attack others will be restrained by the field team. That does not mean you are being cleared. Those 4 sentences were extremely grounded in reality. No mystical wording. No lordly authority. But in the middle of chaos, they established the first layer of order. A middle-aged woman cried out. I only came here to find my son. Qin Wan immediately supported her. Name? Zhou Milan. Who are you looking for? My son, Wang Juinjia. Qin Wan quickly wrote it down. Missing person entanglement. Ordinary evacuation, left side. A young man clutched his head and knelt on the ground. Correction, correction. I don't want correction. Lin Yao crouched in front of him. Name. Huang. Huang Qiming. Do you want to withdraw? Yes. Withdraw from what? I withdraw from correction. Lin Yao corrected him. Withdraw from correction under concealed risk. Huang Qiming shouted after him. I withdraw from correction under concealed risk. The withdrawal wooden tag shadow lit up once. Huang Qiming's eyes cleared considerably. The third field team immediately brought him into the withdrawal zone. A young girl was curled up in the corner, covering her ears with both hands. When a medical worker tried to ask her name, she screamed. Do not call me that name. Lin Yao shouted at once. Do not force the original name. Qinwan ran over and wrote on a piece of paper. You can write a temporary name first. The girl trembled as she took the pen and wrote. Little dear. The temporary name wooden tag shadow glowed faintly. Qinwan followed the procedure and said. Temporary name, little dear. You retain the right to change or recover your name later. The girl nodded through tears. This was the first time reality side diversion truly operated. It was no longer Lin Yao handling everything alone. Qinwan, the field operatives, and the medical workers all began connecting to the procedure. Chen Shu saw it and immediately ordered. Divert according to the 4 tags. No random questioning. Ask for name first. If they cannot say their name, ask for a temporary name. If you hear correction or return to formation, ask about withdrawal. At that moment, the efficiency of the third field team came fully into view. Once the procedure was clear, they executed faster than the villagers in the game. This was the advantage of a reality side system. It was massive, rigid, and could easily crush people. But once pointed in the right direction, it could also mobilize quickly. When the man in the white shirt saw the scene being diverted, his expression changed. He pressed the laptop again. Blockers, eliminate. 3 people who had been standing silently upright moved at the same time. They lunged toward Lin Yao and Qinwan. Chen Shu personally moved. His movements were clean and precise. One kick swept the first person down, his elbow pinned the second person's shoulder, and a third field operative used a restraint strap to control the third. He did not fire. Nor did he strike their heads heavily. Instead, using standard high-risk restraint procedure, he pinned the 3 beneath the shadow of the high-risk wooden tag. Lin Yao called out loudly. Blockers eliminated is not your name. One of them struggled violently. Eliminate. Eliminate. Chen Shu said coldly. High-risk restraint, not clearing. The moment those words came out, the high-risk wooden tag lit up. That high-risk individual's struggle weakened slightly. Lin Yao glanced at Chen Shu. Chen Shu was learning the procedure as well. And he was learning fast. On the other side, He Chuan and Yi Jiwei had already opened the control box. Yi Jiwei cried out. The command source is not local. He Chuan frowned. Relay? Yes. The mall broadcast is only an amplifier. The real source is external. Lin Yao asked. Can you trace it backward? He Chuan said. We need time. The man in the white shirt laughed. Too late. Correction has already begun. His phone screen lit up. A countdown appeared on it. Reality military order point synchronization, 72%. Lin Yao's gaze darkened. This diversion was only the surface. The true military order point synchronization was being completed remotely. If synchronization reached 100%, these summoned people might only be the first batch. Within the nearby district, More people who had received text messages, sleep muttering, and marks could all be pulled by the military order. He Chuan said quietly. We need to cut the source. Chen Shu asked. Location. Yi Jiwei stared at the fluctuation. Not them all. The source is underground. Qin Wan's expression changed. Underground parking lot? Yi Jiwei shook her head. Deep or? Lin Yao immediately thought of the third layer of the divine domain. There was a corresponding point in reality as well. Not a completely identical third layer, but a military order core that Luo Wence had assembled using reality side facilities. Lin Yao looked toward the man in the white shirt. Where is the entrance? The man in the white shirt smiled. Aren't you good at finding rules? Then find it yourself. Chen Shu slammed him against the wall. Entrance. The man's face flushed, but he was still smiling. Mr. Luo said. The faster you divert people, the more you prove that the Obsidian rules are worth using as a control. Reality is not 30 people. This is only the first layer. Lin Yao stopped pressing him. He held down the metal box and said quietly. War Soul Diversion, mark the high-risk source. The 4 wooden tag shadows contracted at the same time. The high-risk wooden tag cast a gray-white line toward the floor. The line passed through the third floor ground and pointed directly underground. Chen Shu immediately ordered. Qin Wan, stay here and maintain diversion. Yi Jiwei, leave 1 monitor behind. He Chuan, Lin Yao, come downstairs with me. He Chuan looked at him. You trust me? Chen Shu said. No. But you are useful. He Chuan laughed once. Fair enough. Lin Yao looked at the crowd on the third floor, which was gradually stabilizing. Reality side diversion was effective. But the true military order source was still underground. Luo Wence had once again turned the surface battlefield into a delay. Only this time, the battlefield was not in the divine domain. It was inside an abandoned shopping mall in a real city. Lin Yao tightened his grip on the metal box and followed Chen Shu toward the underground passage. The core of the third season's first reality military order point was about to be exposed. The safety door leading underground was locked with iron chains. They were not ordinary chains. Attached to the chains was a row of black-gray stickers, each printed with wording similar to maintenance seals. Equipment under inspection. Unauthorized personnel prohibited. Safety confirmation area. Procedure correction passage. When Lin Yao saw the last sticker, his gaze sank. Luo Wence had completely translated the military order commands from the game into the language most likely to make people obey in reality. No longer return to formation, but safety confirmation. No longer recall, but procedure correction. No longer military order node, but equipment inspection area. As long as the words looked official and the tone sounded like a notice, many people would instinctively not dare to resist. This was more terrifying than black-tide whispers. Because it did not need people to believe in monsters. It only needed people to believe in procedure. Chen Shu glanced at the seals and said coldly, "Photograph for evidence." A field operative immediately photographed every label. He Chuan also looked at those words, his expression darker than before. Lin Yao asked, "Are these formats also your internal templates?" He Chuan did not deny it immediately. Some of the wording is similar. Similar enough for people to mistake them as official? He Chuan was silent for a breath. Yes. Chen Shu looked at him. You had better hope Luo Wence only stole them. He Chuan said calmly. If not, I will handle it. Lin Yao glanced at him. He did not fully trust He Chuan. But at least He Chuan understood the seriousness of the matter now. Chen Shu used bolt cutters to cut the chain. Once the safety door opened, a wave of damp, cold air surged up from below. The mall originally only had an underground parking lot and an equipment level. But the staircase before them went deeper than an ordinary equipment passage. Newly laid black cables ran along the walls. They extended downward, and every few meters, a small speaker patch was attached. Yi Jiwei held the monitor and said softly, "These speaker patches are synchronizing on the same frequency. They are not playing sound for people to hear. They are maintaining field resonance." He Chuan added, "Similar to a low-level audio calibration chamber." Lin Yao said, "Reality side version." Yi Jiwei nodded. "But rougher than inside the game." "Rough does not mean safe," Lin Yao said. "People in reality are more fragile." That sentence made everyone fall silent for a moment. Inside the game, when characters were injured, medicine, talismans, altars, and rosters could stabilize them. In reality, a single wrong stimulus could cause brain damage, mental collapse, cardiopulmonary problems, even death. Chen Shu ordered, "Earplugs. Everyone." The field operatives quickly put on low-frequency blocking earplugs. Lin Yao also accepted a pair. He Chuan warned, "Complete isolation may prevent you from hearing changes in the military order." Lin Yao said, "I am not Fong Jian. In reality, forcing myself to listen will only turn me into a sample." He Chuan looked at him and did not argue. That was a hard sentence to refute. The mistake the second research group was most prone to making was believing that if something could be endured, one should endure a little more, and if something could be observed, one should observe a little more. Lin Yao, by contrast, understood the boundary more clearly than they did. The group followed the stairs downward. The second basement level was larger than what was marked on the mall's blueprints. It should have been converted from old equipment rooms and an air raid shelter space. The walls were exposed, the floor damp, and temporary lights hung from the ceiling. From farther away came the low sound of machinery. And commands clearer than before. Complete correction. Confirm affiliation. Withdrawal requires review. Interferers eliminated. None of those phrases sounded especially frightening on its own. But when played continuously, it was like someone stamping them into the brain. Yi Jiwei watched the instrument, and her expression grew worse and worse. Synchronization rate, 81. Chen Shu frowned. How long until full synchronization? Uncertain. He Chuan looked at the data. If there is no external stimulus, maybe 15 minutes. If the crowd upstairs falls into chaos again, it may accelerate. Lin Yao asked. The core needs feedback from the crowd? He Chuan nodded. It is using the 20+ people upstairs as reality feedback. The more people obey correction, the more stable the core becomes. The more people withdraw, the more unstable the core becomes. Lin Yao immediately understood. This was similar to the 30-person silent formation on the old Salt Road. Only the reality side version was more concealed. The crowd on the third floor was the military order points feedback loop. The second basement level was the core amplifier. If the third floor diversion continued to succeed, the underground core would be disrupted. So Qin Wan's side could not fall into disorder. Lin Yao picked up the comms. Qin Wan. The third floor diversion cannot stop. Qin Wan's voice came through. Understood. Current count, 11 ordinary evacuees, 6 withdrawers, 2 temporary name holders, 3 high-risk restrained, and 5 whose state remains unclear. Chen Shu glanced at Lin Yao. That speed was faster than he had expected. Lin Yao asked, "Is little boat stable?" Xinhuan paused for a second. "He is helping little deer write a temporary name tag." Lin Yao's heart moved slightly. The temporary name holder who had just been saved was already helping stabilize another temporary name holder. That was the key to the spread of the Obsidian system. Not everyone needed to become a warrior. As long as someone could pass on the sentence, "You can avoid using your original name for now," the right of temporary name could transform from one person's rule into a protective net for a group of people. At the end of the second basement passage stood a fire door. Gray-black light leaked through the crack. A white sheet of paper was attached to the door. Second stage correction room. Lin Yao looked at those words and laughed coldly. Correction room. Chen Shu asked. Wait for support? Yi Jiwei looked at the instrument and said urgently. Synchronization rate, 86. There was no time to wait. Chen Shu immediately ordered. Breach. The field operatives installed a small breaching device. 3 seconds later, the fire door was blown open. Behind the door was a space converted from an equipment room. In the center stood a large server. Cables were connected all around it, running toward the speaker arrays on the walls and the mall broadcast system. In front of the server sat 6 people. Each of them wore black headphones. Their eyes were closed, and their fingers rested on keyboards, as if they were simultaneously entering the same string of commands. They were not tied up. They were not unconscious. They were cooperating in a half-dream, half-awake state. Yi Jiwei drew in a sharp breath. Human brain relays. He Chuan's expression changed completely. He is using living people as low-level synchronization servers. Lin Yao tightened his grip on the metal box. These 6 people were the core relays of the reality military order point. They might not know what they were doing, but their brains were translating Luo Wence's military orders into reality-side broadcasts, text messages, sleep muttering, and field frequencies. On the server screen, progress was jumping. Reality military order point synchronization, 89%. The breaching noise disturbed the remote image of the man in the white shirt. A small screen lit up. On the screen was not the man in the white shirt. It was Luo Wence. He still wore that calm expression. Lin Yao. You arrived faster than expected again. Lin Yao said coldly. You still like connecting people as equipment. Luo Wence said indifferently. This is reality. No altar, no skills, no NPCs helping you. Only equipment, procedures, flesh, and efficiency. How will you save them? The server progress jumped to 90. Chen Shu raised a hand. The field operatives aimed their weapons at the equipment. He Chuan immediately stopped them. Do not fire. Forcibly destroying the server may overload the brains of the 6 relays. Luo Wence smiled. Deputy Director, he still understands. Chen Shu's face was iron dark. They could not shoot the equipment. They could not unplug the lines. They could not forcibly wake them. They could not allow synchronization to complete. This was almost a deadlock. Lin Yao looked at the 6 people. In front of each was a small screen. On the screens was not code. They were segments of reality-side language. Please complete correction. Withdrawal requires review. Rights and benefits are about to expire. Safety confirmation incomplete. External interference high risk. Lin Yao suddenly understood. The 6 relays were not simply outputting commands. Each represented a kind of real-world pressure. Correction. Review. Benefits. Safety. interference, confirmation. These were the words that most easily made people obey in real society. Luo Wence was not moving the game's military orders into reality. He was rebuilding military order with reality-side language. Lin Yao said quietly, "We cannot break the equipment. Then we break the language." He Chuan looked at him. "What are you planning?" Lin Yao opened the metal box. The weak shadow of the War Soul altar emerged. This time, it was not only diversion wooden tags. There was also a faint trace of the main flame. Chen Shu immediately warned, "Control the scale." "I know." Lin Yao looked at the 6 relays. Each person corresponds to one pressure word. We do not wake them. We rewrite the prompt. He Chuan's eyes shook. Use reality-side disclosure to counter reality-side military order? Yes, Lin Yao said. Not to make them withdraw from everything. First, let them know they can stop. Yi Jiwei immediately caught on. I can switch the screen prompts to manual input mode. He Chuan looked at her. That violates. Chen Shu looked at him coldly. He Chuan paused for one breath, then changed his words. Do it. Yi Jiwei rushed to the side console and began cutting in. Lin Yao spoke softly to the first relay. Correction is not a command. Yi Jiwei simultaneously changed the screen text to You can pause correction. The first relay's fingers trembled. The progress paused for an instant. On the second relay's screen was Withdrawal requires review. Lin Yao said. Withdrawal can first be established. Review comes afterward. Yi Jiwei entered. You can say withdrawal first. A tear slid from the corner of the second relay's eye. The third screen showed rights and benefits are about to expire. Chen Shu suddenly spoke. Rights and benefits cannot threaten personal safety. Yi Jiwei glanced at him and quickly typed. Rights and benefits do not outrank safety. The third relay's shoulders relaxed. The fourth screen showed safety confirmation incomplete. He Chuan was silent for a moment, then spoke himself. Safety confirmation cannot replace personal consent. Yi Jiwei typed it in. The fourth relay's breathing recovered. The fifth was external interference high risk. Lin Yao looked at the metal box. Not every external voice is interference. Some are rescue. Yi Jiwei typed. Rescue is not interference. The fifth relay's fingers stopped. The sixth was confirm affiliation. Lin Yao said. Affiliation can be chosen. Yi Jiwei typed. You can choose not to return to formation. All 6 relays stopped typing at the same time. The server progress froze at 93. For the first time, Luo Wence's image showed obvious static. You split the military order into prompts? Lin Yao said. Because in reality, many military orders are hidden inside prompts. The War Soul main flame lit faintly. The text on all 6 screens turned gray-white at the same time. You can stop. You can withdraw. You can choose. You can wake up. The 6 relays slowly opened their eyes. They were not fully awake. But it was enough to stop the output. The synchronization rate began to fall. 93. 90. 86. 81. Luo Wence looked at Lin Yao, and cold light flickered through his eyes. Good. The first version of the reality-side name settling procedure is established. Data recorded. Lin Yao's eyes sank. Recorded again. Luo Wence was never afraid of failing once. What he feared was having no control data. Chen Shu shot the screen. Not the server. Only Luo Wence's image. Shut up. The screen shattered. Luo Wence's image vanished. The server progress stopped at 72. The military order point had not completely collapsed. But the first round of synchronization had failed. Lin Yao looked at the 6 relays as they gradually regained awareness, and he knew this was only the beginning. In reality, Luo Wence had already learned to build military orders with procedures, text messages, broadcasts, benefits, review, and safety confirmation. And the Obsidian rules also had to learn how to dismantle them within reality-side language. The battlefield of the 3rd season was far more difficult than it had been in the game. The server on the 2nd basement level was still running quietly. Although the synchronization rate had already dropped from 93 to 72, the equipment had not fully shut down. The 6 human brain relays were also not fully awake. They were like people who had just floated up from deep water, eyes open, but unable to tell where they were for a while. One woman in her 20s spoke first. Did I still not complete confirmation? Lin Yao said at once. You can avoid completing it for now. The woman's eyes were blank. But it said that not completing it would affect safety. Chen Shu said in a low voice. We are the on-site safety unit. Your safety is now being confirmed by us. The woman looked at the field identification on his body. As if she had found some reality-side anchor, her breathing slowly steadied. The 2nd relay was a middle-aged man. As soon as he woke up, he began apologizing. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. They said it was only assisting a broadcast test. I didn't know it would call so many people here. He Chuan immediately asked. Who recruited you? The middle-aged man held his head. An online task platform. They said it was a divine domain synchronization peripheral equipment stress test. The hourly pay was high. All I had to do was press confirm according to the prompts. Lin Yao looked toward He Chuan. Outsourcing again. He Chuan's expression was very ugly. He knew as well that the problem had grown large. Inside the game, there were intermediaries like Mouse. In reality, there were online task platforms, text message templates, outsourced testing, and the name of equipment maintenance. Luo Wence was building a reality-side recruitment line. And that line was harder to trace than the one in the game. Because it could hide completely inside legal or semi-legal labor tasks. Yi Jiwei quickly marked the states of the 6 relays. 2 recruited through task platforms. 1 summoned by correction text message. 1 equipment maintenance worker. 1 player's family member. 1 with no login record, but high synchronization sleep muttering. Lin Yao said at once. Do not mix the 6 categories. Chen Shu nodded. Divert them. He ordered the field operatives. Task platform recruits, 1 group. Text message recalls, 1 group. Equipment maintenance worker, separate questioning. Family entanglement and sleep muttering cases go through medical observation. He Chuan watched this on-site diversion, his gaze deepening. He suddenly understood that Lin Yao's system was not only good for saving people. It was also very suitable for tracing responsibility. Because once things were not mixed together, the lines of responsibility would surface. Task platform. Text message source. Equipment maintenance company. Player family entanglement. Sleep muttering spillover. Every line could be traced. And what Luo Wence wanted most was to mix all of it into one synchronized anomaly incident. Once it became a single tangled mass, it could only be uniformly contained, uniformly studied, and uniformly sealed by the 2nd research group. Lin Yao insisted on splitting it apart. Chen Shu asked He Chuan. Can the task platform be investigated? Hechuan nodded. Yes. But it may be a shell. Then investigate the shell, Chen Shu said coldly. Investigate the text message templates too. And the equipment maintenance company. If this is related to the second research group's internal templates, I want names. Hechuan looked at him. Team Leader Chen, you are asking for an internal investigation of the second research group. I am asking for responsibility tracing in a reality-side safety incident. Hechuan smiled slightly. You are starting to talk like Lin Yao. Chen Shu's face remained expressionless. Because it is useful. Lin Yao did not join their conversation. He was looking at the server screen. After the synchronization rate stopped at 72, it did not continue falling. That meant the military order core still had a residue. He asked Yi Jiwei. Why has it stopped? Yi Jiwei checked the data. After the 6 relays stopped outputting, the main synchronization should have continued to fall. But now another backup source is maintaining it. Lin Yao frowned. Where is the backup source? Yi Jiwei looked at the instrument. Not on basement level 2. Not on the 3rd floor either. Hechuan suddenly looked at his phone. At the same time, the phones of several field operatives vibrated as well. Chen Shu's expression changed. Everyone, do not look at the messages. But one young field operative had already instinctively glanced down. His gaze lost focus instantly. On his phone screen was a push notification. Safety correction not yet complete. Please confirm whether to continue. Not just him. Inside the entire mall, every phone connected to the nearby cell tower began receiving similar notifications. Yi Jiwei cried out in shock. It connected to mobile push notifications. Hechuan's face changed dramatically. Impossible. That requires external network authority. Lin Yao said coldly. Now is not the time to ask whether it is possible. Cut it first. Chen Shu immediately ordered. All devices on airplane mode. Switch communications to shortwave. Field operatives, check everyone's phones. But the push notifications had already begun spreading. The people who had just stabilized on the 3rd floor also began receiving notifications one after another. Xinhuan's urgent voice came through comms. Some people are starting to mutter correction again. Little Deer became unstable after seeing the notification. Lin Yao's gaze turned cold. Luo Wence's true backup source was not another server. It was phones. In reality, every person carried a device that received commands. Texts, push notifications, reminders, system alerts. These were the best carriers for reality-side military orders. In the game, the Black Tide relied on whispers. In reality, military orders relied on prompts. Lin Yao looked at Hechuan. Can you cut nearby push notifications? Hechuan said. We need coordination from the telecom side. Chen Shu said. I will request emergency blocking. Yi Jiwei looked at the synchronization rate. Too late. The synchronization rate began rising again. 74. 76. 79. Although Luo Wence's image had been shattered, his voice sounded from one field operative's phone. Lin Yao. You can dismantle broadcasts. You can dismantle prompts. You can dismantle the language of correction. But can you dismantle every phone? Chen Shu snatched the phone and threw it into a metal shielding bag. The voice vanished. But the problem remained. The push notifications would continue appearing. As long as people saw words like continue, confirm, correction, or safety, they could be pulled into the military order again. Lin Yao looked at the push notification, and a line from the second season's observation chamber suddenly appeared in his mind. Obsidian roster, low efficiency, high discernment, high withdrawal, high responsibility tracking, high complexity. Luo Wence was now using reality-side scale to attack that point. Lin Yao could not go one by one and stop everyone from looking at their phones. He needed to establish a faster reality-side counterprompt. He pressed down on the metal box. The weak shadow of the War Soul altar emerged. Chen Shu immediately warned. "Do not expand the projection." Lin Yao said. "I am not expanding it. I am making a counterprompt." He Chuan's eyes moved. "You want to use Obsidian rules to overwrite the push notifications?" "Not overwrite," Lin Yao said. "Let people who see the prompt have a second sentence they can choose." He picked up his own phone and opened a text draft. "If you see notifications containing correction, return to formation, confirmation, or similar language, do not click them first. First say your own name, or write down a temporary name. You may withdraw from correction that was not fully disclosed. Do not go alone to any assembly location. Contact on-site safety personnel." He looked at Chen Shu. "Can the 3rd Field Team send a regional warning through its channels?" Chen Shu's eyes lit up. "Yes." He Chuan immediately added. "The 2nd Research Group also has a risk alert channel." Chen Shu looked at him. He Chuan said. "This time, I will provide authorization. But the content cannot mention Obsidian." Lin Yao nodded. "No need. Write it in words people can understand." Chen Shu immediately had a field operative contact the regional warning platform. He Chuan called the 2nd Research Group Risk Notification Center. Yi Jiwei was responsible for compressing Lin Yao's text into an official warning. At first, she wanted to write, "Do not click suspected synchronized anomaly push notifications." Lin Yao glanced at it and shook his head. "Too cold." Yi Jiwei frowned. "Official warnings are all like this. That is exactly why they lose to Luo Wence." Lin Yao said. "He writes as if he is protecting you. You also need to let people know that we are protecting them." Yi Jiwei was silent for a moment, then rewrote it. "If you receive an unfamiliar notification asking for correction, return to formation, or confirmation, please do not click it first. Please confirm your own name, remain where you are, and contact on-site safety personnel. Any correction whose risks have not been fully explained may be refused or paused." Lin Yao nodded. "Add one sentence. Those who do not want to say their real name may write a temporary name first." Yi Jiwei looked at Chen Shu. Chen Shu said, "Add it." The regional warning was sent out. A few seconds later, every phone in the mall vibrated at the same time. This time, what they received was not only Luo Wence's correction notification. There was also a counterprompt jointly issued by the 3rd Field Team and the Risk Notification Center. From the 3rd floor comms, Xinwan shouted, "Effective!" Many people stopped. Little Deer wrote down her temporary name tag and did not tap the notification. The synchronization rate on the 2nd basement level began falling. 80. 76. 73. 69. Luo Wence did not speak again. But Lin Yao knew he must have seen it. Reality-side military orders relied on prompts. The Obsidian rules could also be transformed into prompts. This was the 3rd season's first important breakthrough. It was not about moving game abilities into reality. It was about translating the rules formed inside the game into procedural language that people in reality could understand, execute, and use to protect themselves. Yi Ziwei looked at the falling synchronization rate and murmured. A battle of prompts. Lin Yao looked toward the server. It is not over yet. The synchronization rate stopped at 66. Deep inside the server, a core program still had not closed. A new line of text appeared on the screen. Final correction requires on-site confirmation. Core witness requested to enter. Chen Shu frowned. Who is the core witness? Lin Yao looked at that line, and the metal box warmed faintly. The answer was already obvious. What Luo Wence wanted was not the people on the third floor, nor the 6 relays. It was him. The final confirmation of the reality military order point actually required the bearer of the Obsidian rules as a control witness. He Chuan said quietly. This may be a trap. Lin Yao said. Of course it is. Chen Shu asked. Do we enter? Lin Yao looked at the words flickering constantly on the screen. If they did not enter, the core program might remain stuck at 66, becoming a hidden danger that could restart again and again in the future. If they entered, Luo Wence would certainly have prepared a test targeting him. He took a deep breath. We enter. But this time, he added. Not alone. He looked at Chen Shu, He Chuan, and Yi Ziwei. Reality-side military orders do not only need the Obsidian rules as witness. They also need reality safety, research responsibility, and observation boundaries to witness together. Chen Shu looked at him and nodded. I enter. He Chuan adjusted his glasses. I will enter as well. Yi Ziwei's face went pale. I? Lin Yao said. You can choose not to. Yi Ziwei gritted her teeth. No. I am an observer. This time, I will not only upload data. I will enter. Behind the server, a metal door that had not existed before slowly popped open. Behind it was a small machine room. Or perhaps a reality-side observation chamber Luo Wence had prepared for them. The first true reality-side rule confrontation of the 3rd season was about to begin. Behind the metal door was not an ordinary machine room. At least, not entirely. Judging from the building structure, it should have been part of the mall's underground equipment area. There were electrical panels on the walls. An old drainage channel ran across the floor. Exposed wiring hung from the ceiling. But after Lin Yao, Chen Shu, He Chuan, and Yi Ziwei stepped inside, the room's light began to become unnatural. Gray-black text surfaced on all 4 walls. At first, it looked like code. Soon, it changed into reality-side terminology. Confirm. Correct. Consent. Review. Safety. Rights and benefits. Withdraw. Temporary name. Responsibility. Observation. Lin Yao saw at a glance that Luo Wence had imitated the 3rd layer observation chamber of the old Salt Road to create this reality-side version. It was not as high level as the true 3rd layer. But it was connected to reality-side equipment, human brain relays, mobile push notifications, broadcast systems, and synchronization contamination. This was a crude reality-side rule testing room. The door closed behind them. Chen Shu immediately turned back to confirm the exit. The metal door was still there, but the electronic lock had changed to red. Locked. He Chuan took out a small jammer. Give me 3 minutes. The screen in the center of the room lit up. Luo Wence's image appeared again. This time, he was neither seated nor standing inside a laboratory. His background was a blur of black tide. As if he himself was no longer in any stable location. Welcome. He looked at the 4 of them. Bearer of the Obsidian rules. Reality Safety Executor. Representative of research procedure. Observation recorder. Good. This is more complete than I expected. Chen Shu said coldly. Luo Wence, you are suspected of unlawful detention, endangering public safety, illegal human experimentation, forging official messages, and spreading reality site synchronization contamination. Luo Wence laughed. Team Leader Chen, your language is very realistic. I respect that. But today's subject is not law. Chen Shu said. In reality, it is law. Luo Wence nodded. That is why you were chosen. The first question surfaced on the wall. Reality question 1. In an emergency, may safety temporarily stand above individual consent? This question was not for Lin Yao. It was for Chen Shu. Chen Shu's gaze sank. Luo Wence had thrown the question to the reality safety executor. During field operations, emergency safety often did stand above an individual's immediate wishes. For example, stopping self-harm, stopping an attack, isolating an infection source, sealing off a dangerous area. If Chen Shu answered no, reality site safety procedure could not function. If he answered yes, Luo Wence could turn emergency safety into an entrance for consenting on someone else's behalf. He Chuan looked toward Chen Shu. Yi Ziwei held her breath. Lin Yao did not answer for Chen Shu. This was a boundary the reality site safety party had to define for itself. Chen Shu was silent for 2 seconds, then spoke. It may temporarily restrict action. It may not permanently replace consent. The wall text flickered. Chen Shu continued. Emergency safety can allow us to stop someone from harming themselves or others. It can allow us to isolate, restrain, or evacuate for a short time. But it cannot be used to sign agreements for them, cannot be used to make them give up the right to withdraw, and cannot turn them into experimental material. Emergency measures must have a time limit, a record, a review, and a responsible person. Lin Yao glanced at Chen Shu. That answer was stable. He did not deny the necessity of reality site safety, nor did he leave room for safety authority to expand infinitely. An assessment surfaced on the wall. Reality safety rule, temporary restriction allowed, permanent replacement forbidden. Requires time limit, record, review, and responsible person. Luo Wence smiled faintly. Good. The second question appeared. Reality question 2. May research perform preliminary observation before complete informed disclosure? This question belonged to He Chuan. He Chuan adjusted his glasses. His expression did not change, but Lin Yao could tell his gaze was much heavier than before. In many past incidents involving the second research group, this was the area where problems most easily arose. Preliminary observation without complete disclosure. High-risk synchronization protocols. Outsourced stress tests. Fangjian, Zhoumian, Xiongjian, Jiangbai. Behind every case was the shadow of observe first, test first, contain first. If He Chuan said absolutely not, many emergency observations by the second research group would lose legitimacy. If he said yes, Lin Yao's contract withdrawal roster would collide with it directly. He Chuan was silent for a long time. Luo Wence watched him, seeming rather expectant. Deputy Director He. Your answer will be more interesting than Team Leader Chen's. At last, He Chuan spoke. Preliminary non-invasive observation may be performed. Lin Yao's gaze cooled slightly. He Chuan lifted a hand, signaling him to listen until the end. But only under 3 conditions. First, the subject is already in an obvious state of danger, and the purpose of observation is to prevent immediate harm. Second, the observation does not alter the subject's body, consciousness, or right status. Third, after observation, disclosure must be supplemented, and the person must be allowed to withdraw from subsequent participation. He paused. Preliminary observation is not preliminary experimentation. It does not mean sampling is allowed. It does not mean guided awakening is allowed. It does not mean raw voices, sleep muttering, or bodily responses may be taken for retraining. Yi Ziwei's eyes widened slightly. It was as if this was the first time she had heard Yichuan limit research authority in such a clear way. Luo Wence also looked at Yichuan, and his smile faded somewhat. You are shrinking the second research group's hands. Yichuan said calmly. I am preserving the possibility that the second research group can still be trusted. The wall text flickered. Research rule, non-invasive preliminary observation may be established. Restrictions, must not alter subject state, must not become experimentation, must not be used for retraining, requires supplemented disclosure and withdrawal. Lin Yao's heart moved slightly. Yichuan was not harmless. But he knew that if the second research group continued expanding without boundaries, it would eventually be devoured by the Obsidian rules, the third field team, and even RealitySide public credibility together. Right now, he was saving himself. The third question appeared. Reality question 3, may an observer record without reporting everything? This question belonged to Yi Ziwei. She visibly grew nervous. As an observer, she had always been trained to see, record, and upload. But tonight, she had repeatedly been forced to realize that some raw data was itself a risk. Some voices could not be uploaded. Some sleep muttering could not be copied. Some temporary name holders could not be fully recorded in audio. She took a deep breath. Yes. Yichuan looked at her. Yi Ziwei's face was somewhat pale, but she continued. Observers have a responsibility to record. But reporting is not unconditional. If raw data may cause secondary contamination, secondary harm, identity exposure, or military order retraining, it should first be sealed. Report summaries, risk levels, and necessary handling recommendations. Raw data requires dual ethical and safety review. Chen Shu added. And the signature of the on-site responsible person. Yi Ziwei nodded. Yes. She looked toward Lin Yao. Temporary name holder data must not be used to retroactively force questioning under the original name. Withdrawer sleep muttering cannot be used as material for summoning them again. High-risk military order command words cannot circulate in their original audio. The wall text lit up. Observation rule, recording does not mean unconditional reporting. Raw data must be sealed, reviewed, and risk reduced. Temporary names, withdrawal, sleep muttering, and military order command words are high sensitivity data. Luo Wence's image distorted slightly. He had originally wanted to use these 3 questions to force reality safety, research, and observation to expose their devouring logic. But Chen Shu, Yichuan, and Yi Ziwei had all given boundaries. That was unfavorable to Luo Wence. Finally, the 4th question appeared on the wall. Reality question 4, may the Obsidian rules bypass RealitySide institutions and intervene directly? This question belonged to Lin Yao. And it was the most dangerous one. If he answered yes, the Obsidian rules could be regarded as another abnormal order that surpassed RealitySide authority. Then both the second research group and the third field team would have reasons to suppress him. If he answered no, the Obsidian rules might be restrained everywhere during RealitySide disasters, unable to save people. Luo Wence looked at him. Lin Yao. Inside the game, you established a territory. Now reality needs you as well. Will you acknowledge that the Obsidian rules stand above RealitySide institutions? Chen Shu and Yichuan looked at Lin Yao at the same time. This answer would determine how they treated Lin Yao afterward. Lin Yao was silent for a moment. He thought of Obsidian Village. He thought of the Black Tide Purification Office. He thought of the contract withdrawal roster. He thought of the right of temporary name. He also thought of Little Boat, Little Deer, Chen Bairan, Lin Jiaying, and Guo Mingchuan, who had just been name settled in reality. At last, he spoke. They may not bypass directly. Luo Wence's eyes moved slightly. Lin Yao continued. In reality, the Obsidian rules can only function as an emergency supplementary procedure. They cannot replace reality-side law, medical systems, safety systems, or research institutions. But when reality-side institutions cannot recognize divine domain contamination, withdrawal reactions, temporary name needs, or military orders spillover, the Obsidian rules may intervene as a temporary diversion and protection method. Intervention must be recorded. It must have a reality-side responsible person. It must accept review afterward. No one may be forced into belonging in the name of Obsidian. The weak altar shadow inside the metal box lit up. Lin Yao said one final sentence. The Obsidian rules are not the king of reality. They are a lamp when reality fails. The room was silent. Chen Shu slowly nodded. He Chuan's gaze was deep. Yi Jiwei repeated softly. A lamp. The wall text changed violently. Reality intervention rule established. Obsidian rule positioning, emergency supplementary procedure. Restrictions may not replace reality-side institutions, may not force belonging, requires record, responsible person, and review. Functions: divine domain contamination diversion, withdrawal recognition, temporary name protection, military order spillover restraint. Luo Wence's image lost all trace of a smile. He had not expected Lin Yao to avoid claiming that the Obsidian rules stood above reality. That robbed him of the opportunity to portray Lin Yao as another kind of ruler. In the center of the room, the server core emerged. The synchronization rate began to fall rapidly from 66, 58, 49, 32, 19. But just as the synchronization rate was about to reach 0, Luo Wence suddenly raised his head. Good. The first reality-side rule confrontation is complete. You have given me very valuable answers. Lin Yao's eyes went cold. You can still record? Luo Wence said. Of course. You won this point. But I have recorded the boundaries of reality safety, research, observation, and the Obsidian rules. Next time, I will start from the boundaries. Chen Shu raised his gun directly and aimed at the screen. Luo Wence smiled. Team Leader Chen, see you in reality. A gunshot rang out. The screen shattered. The synchronization rate returned to 0. The metal door unlocked. Qin Wan's voice came from outside. The third floor is stable. Everyone has either evacuated or completed diversion. No deaths. Lin Yao let out a breath. The third season's first reality military order point had been stopped. But Luo Wence's final words still sank in his heart. Next time, I will start from the boundaries. Reality was not Obsidian Town. It had laws, procedures, institutions, authority, and responsibility. And those boundaries could protect people, but Luo Wence could also use them. This war had only just begun.